All right, welcome on in everyone to this episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to look at Santa Clara County 55 out of California. This council was originally formed in 1929 as a name change from what has to be the longest council name ever, the Santa Clara, San Benito, and Monterey Bay Council. So they changed from all of that to just Santa Clara County. And then in 2012, it merged with Monterey Bay Area Council to form Silicon Valley. Now, Santa Clara is another one where the first couple of issues look very similar, so we are pleased to be able to bring those to you for the best identification purposes. We're obviously going to head on over to the patch table and start with the first issue T1 with its brown border, white background, red letters, large gold star, and a large wagon that is 1 millimeter from the inner border. Also, the size of the patch itself is 56 by 136 in millimeters. The second patch produced, listed as T2, again was probably just a reorder or second production run, but they felt it was different enough a long time ago in the collecting guides to list it as a second issue T2, and we have that here. The difference is going to be primarily size of the patch, distance from the wagon to the inner border, and the size of the star. So T1 at the top, we can take a look at the back of that real quick. It is a cloth back on the T1. And then again here below we have the T2 for comparison, also with brown border, white background, red letters. It is 4 millimeters from the wagon to the inner border as opposed to the 1 millimeter. You can definitely see the difference. And then they list it as gold star, but not the large gold star. And it is a bit larger in the T1 than in the T2. The whole patch here is going to be 52 instead of 56. You can see this is considerably larger, and 131, so a little bit shorter as well. Other than that, they do have the same picture that can convey the same information. The T1 is going to be a bit bigger and has the wagon larger and closer to this inner border, and the T2 has a bit smaller wagon. The colors also look much brighter in the reds here and a little bit more towards the burgundy, but I don't know if this T2 that we happen to have has had a little bit more aging, so maybe it used to be a bit brighter. That one's always kind of difficult to tell. Back of this is cloth gauze back. You can see the gauze here in the center. You can kind of compare these two from the back as well as far as production styles. They do look considerably different from the back. The back is more using white thread behind the colors so they don't come through as strong. Here you get the blue really strong throughout the back. Those are the first two issues from Santa Clara County. The next issue, the T3s, also looked very similar, but are easier to differentiate because they add BSA. So we'll pull one of those up as well. Here we have a T3, and this was formerly divided into A, B, and C. They now only listed it as A and B, so they've merged a couple of those. We don't have all of those variants to show you today, but we have an example of a T3 here, which again is going to add BSA on the end. Formerly, the difference between the T3A, B, and C, the T3A had a large light yellow star, the T3B had a small light yellow star, and the T3C had a small dark yellow star. Now they just go by the size. If it's a larger star, it's a T3A. If it's a smaller star, it's a T3B, and it has a range of colors. Regardless of whether or not you were looking for a light yellow star or dark yellow, which have merged together as B, or you're going by the old classifications, the T3A, B, and C. This is a T3B either way, because this is the smaller star and is light yellow. So there you have it. I can show that T3 in comparison to the T1. Again, where the name goes all the way across, you're going to either be looking at a T1 or a T2, and if you've got a BSA, you're going to be looking at a T3. After that, they went to solidly embroidered patches, so the S4, SA5, SA6, etc. Those would not be confused with the first few issues here from Santa Clara County. Well, there you have it for this episode of First CSP. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Remember, we have a host of playlists. You can go back and check out your favorite episodes, whether it's just the first CSPs, which we have as a playlist, or it's CSPs with known reproductions, where we try and show the authentic CSP with the reproduction. We have a playlist for that. We have a playlist of pre-CSPs that are generally identified with first issues that predate 1970. We've got a playlist for that, so feel free to check those out. We'll be back again tomorrow with another brand new episode as always. Until then, thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.